Hi everyone, my name is Victoria Rotondo and I'm doing my presentation on Chapter 13, the distribution mix and the travel trade, how do we get there? The chapter question I chose was select a major carrier, supplier, or DMO and examine its distribution system. Does it use both direct and indirect distribution? Which trade intermediaries does it target? What positioning approach or approaches does it employ? What promotional activities are used for the travel trade? How could it expand or improve its travel trade marketing? So I chose a DMO. I chose Destination Colorado just because I thought, I'm always doing out-of-state stuff, so I should probably look at my own backyard sometime. This is from Destination Colorado's website, and I just thought it was a nice way to, quickly grasp the reader in a concise manner. Distribution mix is what this chapter is about, and it's made up of two different channels, direct and indirect distribution. And it basically looks at how services in our industry make themselves available or known to the customer that needs it. So like I said, there were two different channels, direct and indirect. Direct distribution is when an organization takes full responsibility for how customers learn about the services that they provide. And this can be really beneficial in terms of profitability, since it relates directly to control. Indirect distribution is when the responsibility of providing services is shared between one or more of the organizations. This is also known as travel trade intermediaries, and just because there are several steps and people that it involves. So Destination Colorado works with many locations, and the one that I chose to focus my presentation on is Colorado Springs. So when looking at that, the book says that direct distribution is used with individual and group customers, meaning that those customers can approach a DMO themselves, but they mostly use indirect distribution because a DMO will, want the help of other intermediaries in order to provide all of the customer's needs. So they do kind of use both, but it mostly uses indirect distribution. There are 6 different distribution channels for indirect distribution or travel trade intermediaries. The 4 that are bolded are the ones that DMOs and Destination Colorado use primarily. 2 that I want to touch on is tour wholesalers and operators and convention and meeting planners. So tour wholesalers would be like Destination Colorado planning an event in Colorado Springs, and they would reach out to a company or a business that does tours of, let's say, downtown Colorado Springs. So they would work with them in order to add that tour to the package that Destination Colorado is providing the customer. Convention and meeting planner sounds a little self-explanatory, but I did just want to touch on it briefly. In this scenario, Destination Colorado would be working alongside the Colorado Springs Event Center, and even though they're both meeting planners, together they'll be able to make sure that the customer is completely satisfied. So positioning approaches is actually a concept that we learned in Chapter 8, so I won't talk about it too much. But basically what it does is it wants to capture the customer's mind in one of these 6 ways, and how we can capture the audience or our target market's mind. So again, the bolded ones are the ones that Destination Colorado primarily uses. That would be positioning on benefits, problem, solution, or needs, and positioning for user category. So the first one, benefits, problem, solution, or needs, is taking a stance that we have something that not only benefits the customer, but they need it. And typically you will see slogans or statements that use the pronoun you, like you belong here, to really, showcase that problem solution. Destination Colorado's slogan is a great state for meetings naturally, which doesn't use the you pronoun, but it does focus on the need. It implies that we have this ease of planning that the customer doesn't have because they're not planning with us. So, it implies that need so they feel that it will benefit them to plan their meeting with us. Positioning for user category is identifying a certain group of customers and marketing to them. We are an outdoorsy state, and Destination Colorado's website really uses words that go along with that and that go along with, health and well-being. So for example, they use natural, they use breathe, they use fresh air, relax, all of those kinds of words, because we know that that is a audience that would be very interested in working with us. We want to connect with those businesses that are in the health industry, whether that means that they have organic products or organic foods, whatever it may be. We can even reach out to sports related groups, because, dealing with health, we can offer a space that many other places cannot. So this not only benefits us, but this benefits the company as well. So Destination Colorado uses both of those. So the promotional mix is basically a different list of advertising or promotional tactics that help companies market themselves. So they're made up of, quite a few things. There's 8 aspects of the mix. Trade advertising. In relation to the Colorado Springs event that I mentioned, this would be when Destination Colorado would pay to have a ad in a magazine or another published work. So I figured that Destination Colorado advertises themselves in 5280 because that's a magazine that is about Colorado events and, a really great source for them to be putting their money into. The right people are seeing their advertisement. Directories and computerized databases, those are used by travel trade intermediaries specifically. So if somebody calls and they're interested in something that Destination Colorado can provide, if our information is not in that database, that, travel agent won't be able to satisfy that customer because we haven't given them their information. So it's really important for us to keep our information into that database for, not only our customers, but, the travel industry really working together. Trade sales promotions. So this could be, let's say we have a new intermediary that we're working with for the Colorado Springs event, and we want to give them a familiarization trip. And so the intermediary comes out here, we show them our services, they show them our venues so that they can better help their customers and service them so that they come to us and then we can all work together and have a great event. Personal and telephone selling. Sales calls seem a little dated, but they're effective. So it's definitely something to utilize. Destination Colorado does have a sales team that's on the phone with travel agents all day long. But this is, a good way to really build that relationship. And I know I keep mentioning the importance of relationships, and I'll talk more about that in a few other concepts. But basically, we want to still build that, especially in our digital age. Having that personal connection, even over the phone, is a lot better than none at all. Merchandising and brochures, brochures are everywhere. They're all over our state. They're probably all over the nation. But they're really a quick grabber. We could have a CEO out here on a family vacation and let's say they're visiting the Olympic Trade Center Training Center up in the Springs, and they see a brochure for Destination Colorado, and they're like, what? I could totally host my meeting here, and that's simply from looking at their brochure wall. So that's not a place that we want to skimp out on advertising or money wise. That is really important to the success of the business. Public relations and publicity really goes along with the relationships that I've been mentioning. We want to publicly show that we have these great relationships with other companies or intermediaries, because then customers are able to trust what we're doing when we do combine forces and use a lot of different people in order to make an event happen. Cooperative marketing, which is basically partnership, kind of ties into that. The website that Destination Colorado has does mention the partners that they have, including Meeting Planners International. And, it's really a great way to build that first trust with the customer, show the brand in a, in a positive light. So that leads me to website access, which Destination Colorado has an incredible website. We live in a digital age, so that can mean quite a lot for a company. And I looked at a few other DMOs across the nation, and Destination Colorado's really stood out. There were really not very many good ones, and ours is concise, it's user-friendly, it has beautiful pictures. Each location has its own video, and its own pictures and links and contact information. So it really is a great website to utilize. That leads me into the expansion of travel trade marketing, because we can always improve, and it's looking at what aspects of the promotional mix that we can, expand on. So I saw a video on YouTube from Destination Colorado by one of the board members, and it discussed the memberships that they have. And they currently have 120 memberships, and they really want to, increase that number. I mean, why not? And they discuss, that they have so many different ones, and it's so great that they've grown, but I think we would always grow more. There's so many different intermediaries across the nation that we would be, very lucky to partner with, because it'll boost not only our business, but theirs as well. Video updates. So I mentioned that each location has its own video. Well, all of these videos are not made by the same person. I'm going to show you the Colorado Springs one because I think it's a great example, but it's made by the Convention Visitors Bureau, so it's not even by Destination Colorado. I think it would be a really good idea for Destination Colorado to produce them all themselves. That way they all have current imagery. They all have, a similar flow, a uniformity to them. The Denver one I had to stop watching because it honestly kind of freaked me out. But basically, I think that, by having that uniformity, it really shows that, Destination Colorado really cares about each of their locations the same, and, really bringing a value to the table. So more promotional advertising sounds really vague, but it kind of ties into video updates. Their YouTube channel only has the one video of the membership, of the board member speaking about membership. So, utilizing that website, having all of those videos of every location on their website, on the YouTube channel, could be a great way for them to really get their name out in the YouTube community. That's a huge area that's easily utilized by, people all over the place. So you click on one video, it leads to the next one and the next one. Eventually you can get to the Destination Colorado page, and then they're learning about us through, a media that we're not even really teaching them. We're not in their face. They're discovering it all on their own, which, gives them the empowerment to continue on with their, with the process of their planning process. So I do want to show you the Destination Colorado Springs video. And I do apologize if some of it is cut off of the screen. So here are my references, but again, I just think that video was so nice, and it was such a great way to showcase our beautiful state. Thank you for watching.